What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be going over pretty much an up-to-date tier list for monsters. We have the lion pet that just came out. Some things have changed in the meta, some are still on the top, others still kind of on the bottom. So we're going to go over every single monster, tell you guys where they are kind of useful, where they are god tier, where they are the worst out of the bunch. We're going to go over all of that today. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Let's jump right into it. So let's just start this off with kind of the undeniable champion of all monsters. It's the monster you should build first on every single account. It's the monster you should keep for just about every single game mode there is, like legitimately every single game mode. That is going to be the Phoenix. The Phoenix is just still undeniably the best overall pet you could possibly have. You get baseline 20% holy damage and 20% crit damage. You are also getting a heal, a burn, and of course that stacking 80% damage against burning targets. Now, this is of course the best pet to use in pure PvE scenarios versus bosses like your guild and as such as broken spaces. We have new broken spaces coming out soon as well, so this is going to be a very important pet to have. Now, number two is Phoenix is actually used in most everybody's Vanquisher push in Void Vortex because you're going to be going multiple rounds. Now, you don't have a burn hero to synergize with him, but if you can line up your big active damage with that one round that there is a burn on those enemies, that is just insane amounts of damage. You're essentially going to get like 160% extra damage from your sword flash. It's crazy. Absolutely amazing. Good in a lot of other places. It can still be useful in Tower of Dream, although other ones I think take a little bit more priority. It's very good in Sealands that you're going full 15 round battles. Some other pets are better for specific Sealands, but overall the Phoenix is just the god tier number one must build pet. Just hands down. Absolutely amazing. It's great. You gotta have them. Next up, we're gonna move to the Fox. The Fox, I feel like I'm a little impartial to. I still believe the Fox should be an A tier. Why? Because it does feed additional energy to your team, but this pet should be one that you build potentially third-ish, maybe fourth on your account. This is not a first or second pet that you build. You are going to be getting precision and skill damage from this pet. You are also going to have a chance to silence enemies. It's not really there for that silence. It's for the 62 energy that it will give 4 of your allies. Now, this only really comes into play when you really need to keep feeding actives to heroes. It can be decent in PvP. Phoenix is still kind of better. The new Lion's probably kind of better. It's definitely A tier, but I would say it's more towards the bottom of A tier. The more I kind of think about it, this is a tough one. It really is. I want to keep it in the A tier, but honestly, this is one that could potentially be in the B tier. I think what we'll do is we'll put it at the bottom of the A tier. So the way you're going to look at this list is everything on the far left is going to be like the top tier of that tier. Further to the right you go across the screen is going to be the lower tier in that tier, but it's absolutely amazing. It's great for Tower of Dream. I've had really good experiences with my energy feed teams. Just really solid pet. It can do good pretty much everywhere. It's the must-have pet if you're trying to push Sealand 25 in the light faction with your Asmodel. You just need it because there's so much energy drain in light Sealand and 21 plus. It is crazy. It's kind of a must-have, but again, just say it again. Not a first or second monster that you build. It's a third or fourth monster. Next up, we have the Wolf. The Wolf I'm going to put in the B tier. Although, if you're talking about an Ithaca army, Ithaca with Delacium PvE army, you are most likely going to want the Wolf over the Phoenix for PvE damage. But after that, it's besides that not really that good. That's why it's going to take B tier instead of C tier. It does give armor break and it does give precision. Armor break is kind of useless though, because most of the time in the scenarios that you're using the Wolf, Fenrir, something like that. You are already gonna have a Drake on your team that already gets rid of all the armor from the enemies, so it's not as necessary. Of course, this is very much like the Phoenix, where you're going to get 80% damage to bleeding targets that does stack. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I use it mainly over the Phoenix in most PvE scenarios because I have a Scarlet Queen that can keep that bleed debuff going. So if you have a Scarlet Queen in your PvE lineup, it's probably better than the Phoenix. But after that, it falls off. Like purely PvE boss damage, that is its only role. Everything else, kind of not there. Next up, we are going to put the Griffin, or not the Griffin, is it Griffin? Sphinx. Sphinx. I always think it's a Griffin. I mean, it's pretty much Griffin, but it's a Sphinx. So this is a still pretty good monster to have. Again, this one right here is a good 3rd or 4th or 5th monster to build. It gives you precision and holy damage, so pretty good offensively, but it does reduce the armor of the enemies and their speed for 3 rounds. Well, the armor in PvE doesn't matter, the speed, this is purely a PvP pet. It's definitely one of the strongest, or a very strong, I should say, pet in the PvP environment. Should you build it? Probably not. Most people can get away with using other monsters. This is kind of more for a tool to use on endgame PvP accounts. Everybody else kind of stay away from it. After that, we have the deer, and the deer I'm actually bumping down to the B tier now. Previously, I would probably have it in the A tier, but because somebody else does the job pretty much better overall, you're going to get the bump down. Now, you do get 20% armor, you get 15% block, good defensive stats, but then besides that, you're really only getting a heal and bonus armor for your team. The heal can a lot of times be over heal, where it basically means the heal is nullified and not useful. It does heal a flat percentage of 20% HP of your target that gets hit with it, so that's nice if you have very high HP heroes. It does also give 15% attack bonus to those targets on those allies as well, but overall, I would say probably not worthwhile anymore. Now, if you have it currently, I would just stick with it. There's nothing wrong with the deer. It's just I would not encourage people to build the deer outside of maybe their 4th, 5th, or 6th monster. So that is where we stand as far as the deer goes. As far as the next monster goes, the dragon. I'm actually going to put the dragon up in the A tier. I still think it has a lot of great uses personally. I still use it quite often in a lot of different game modes. You're getting crit and crit damage natively. You're also getting a chance to stun the enemies, plus 4 allies receiving 75% holy damage for 2 rounds, which is really nice. You don't need to burn, you don't need to bleed, although it doesn't stack like the Phoenix buffs and everything, so that's why it's not the best PvE, but I feel like the dragon, aka the Niederhog, is probably one of the best overall well-rounded offensive monsters you can build, especially if you're going heavily and relying on your crit chance. It is very, very strong. Is it the best? No, it's not the best, but it definitely has a spot. This one, I would say, is a number 3 or 4 monster to build on your account. Literally, I mean, I know I'm going to say this over and over, but the Phoenix, number 1, no matter what. Then you go to the A tiers on the left side. That's like your 2nd, 3rd-ish. And then if you get to the right side, it's like 4th, 5th-ish. Same with the B tier. So that's pretty much where we are on that one. I think we're going to have to go kind of towards the bottom of this list. Man, I almost want to put like a D tier for the Stone Golem. Stone Golem gives armor and precision, so it doesn't know if it wants to be an offensive monster or a defensive monster, which isn't a problem normally, but then its effect has a chance to petrify the enemies while increasing 4 random allies 60% crit damage. Not like a crit chance, but crit damage. Well, that's kind of useless if you don't crit. Yeah, just don't build a Stone Golem. Don't, I mean, build a Stone Golem if you have every other monster pet built. Besides that, though, I would kind of stay far away from this guy. Yeah, so next up on the list, we are going to put the Snake. So the Snake gives skill damage and block. Again, another one that just gives like a really weird combination of stats. It does, of course, have a very similar effect like the Wolf and the Phoenix, where it gives a stacking 80% damage against poison targets. It's just there's no real great poison heroes except Ithaca, but Ithaca also bleeds, and therefore that's why the Wolf is better, because the Wolf is more offensive. If you're building Ithaca and Delacium army, you want offensive. You don't want this weird mixture of defense and offense. So yeah, again, Snake, just don't build it. Just don't build it. Next up, though, we have an interesting one. I feel like I want to put it in the B tier, and that is the Apparition. I believe that's the name of this one. I actually haven't looked in a long time. So the Apparition. Interesting hero. He does give precision and holy damage, so those are really nice offensive stats. Previously, you used to use the Apparition when you had your Mim Cheese lineups because it synergized very well. It will deal damage against 4 random enemies with a chance to freeze them for 2 rounds, plus give 4 allies 120% damage against frozen targets. That's interesting, but it's really hard to get freezes to stick right now. Plus, there's really no good heroes that freeze, so I think I'm going to bump it down. I think we're going to put him in the C tier for now. Still really decent because it does give that holy damage, which is a very important stat. I put it to the left side here. I think that's where we're going to go. And finally, last but certainly not least, I am going to put the brand new Lion in. We're going to put that one on the A tier, not quite S tier. The S tier needs to be reserved for the Phoenix, but a nice close second and very good second monster to build on your account. Pretty much taking the previous ruler of Deer, where Deer used to be like the second monster you kind of build on a lot of accounts. It is going to the Lion. So the Lion has really great stats. Gives plus holy damage and plus crit damage reduction. With pairing it with your Shelter E2 enable, you can have 30% reduced damage from crit chance or crit damage. It's pretty interesting. So that's pretty cool. Nice stats there, but his active ability is very, very interesting and much better in my opinion than the Deer. Sorry. Brain fart. So instead of doing a 20% heal, which a lot of times becomes overheal from the Deer, this guy gives you 20% or rather 30% as a shield. So even if you're max HP, 4 random allies are going to get a shield for 30% of their HP. Then they're also going to give them 40% holy damage, almost the full active of the dragon that we have up here, followed by 20% damage reduction for 2 rounds. That is absolutely amazing. This one is a nice, well-rounded monster. You're going to use it in some places, maybe like Tower of Dream, where the fights are shorter. You might only get 1 pet active, and therefore I feel like he is actually better. He's really good in PvP. Very good in PvP. I've used him in a ton of different game modes, to be honest, and he's just turned into one of my favorite monsters. Go figure. The 2 newest monsters are the top 2 in my opinion. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, make sure you're building like the Phoenix first no matter what. Then you can move on to maybe like a dragon or a lion, followed by a fox or a griffin, depending if you're worrying about PvE or PvP, or just some energy shenanigans like I love doing. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, is this a guaranteed, this is the must-have tier list? No, this is just my opinions and the experiences that I've had. If you guys have different experiences or think different monsters should be on different tiers, definitely leave a comment down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.